sports fans.
What is
That's
good?
right. Don't touch that dial now. You're like, wait, where's my video game news or my grievances with the Academy of Arts and Sciences? They are not here, my friend. In fact,
Are we talking about
we're
anime today?
hell no. We're talking about cool stuff for men
Oh
and
no.
also women and everyone else in between.
Mm-hmm.
We're talking about sports,
Let's
folks.
go.
On Unscripted Gaming,
Untitled sports show.
currently untitled sports show. We gotta think of a good name for this. It will reveal itself to us at some point,
Yes.
right?
It'll be natural,
Um,
but if you have a suggestion, reach out to us at mailbag@unscriptedgaming.com and send us your suggestions for the Untitled Sports Show.
we will take the first suggestion, so make it good. Okay. First
Blindly
one in
following
is
it.
what's going on.
That is corporate branding right there. That's how that works.
Right.
No
So don't
goddamn
you
committees.
get one shot at this. Don't blow it, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, Josh and I are here to talk about some sports. We don't really have kind of a set agenda here. I guess my kind of thoughts was going to be a little snapshot of, the NFL season so far for us. Seems like a natural place to start. I never really, no one really wants to hear this at this point, but I'm still pretty goddamn bummed about the NBA finals. So I guess we can talk about that a bit here, but yeah, we don't know what the main grievance is that we're seeking to resolve with this podcast yet, right?
Right. We're
Creed Got Rob has an agenda,
right.
long going, right?
The main thesis of so far until we find our true niche is Mike and I are both you know casual to mid-tier fans of several different sports, some of them tangentially related to each other. We have very few common teams besides our Midwestern alma mater basketball school, and some of which
that
have
is true.
yeah.
Weird.
Some of our sports teams have had adversarial relationships in the past. We have different knowledge bases, different experience, different past. But at the end of the day, we just like sports. We like the storylines that emerge because of sports. And I think honestly, that's probably going to be one of the things we highlight is like we like good stories, and oftentimes we lose the stories for the competition and throughout discussing things from the we're not getting into every single stat line, but just like, hey, here's some context about these players and this franchise. I think that's kind of where we're going to be ending up going as we
Also drama. We like drama.
We love
that. Put that
drama.
down too. Write that down.
Yeah. Again, stories, quote unquote.
That's right. Stories. Like for longtime listeners, you may remember our previous sports segment attached to our Wicked Creed Got Rapid Fire.
What a choice that was.
Which is just like, who else is doing it like us? Nobody is.
Right. That's what you come to unscriptedgaming.com for.
Nobody is moving like us. Nobody. That's the Unscripted Gaming promise, is that you're not getting this for better or worse anywhere else. As I recall in the episode description, I said, why does Colts football make my tummy hurt? And 3 games in, my expectations for this season were hilariously low. I wanted to also rip Jim Irsay, the boss.
Yep.
We'll come back to him, and obviously this is a very important part of the overarching plot here, because Jim Irsay passing away, I think, is what made that ball, a Tyrese Halliburton shot in Madison Square Garden, go into the hoop. If you know what I'm talking about. If you know game 1 of the Eastern Conference Finals, just look up that if you haven't seen the shot, and you'll be like, that's magic. And that was the day the previous owner of the Colts, Jim Irsay, passed away. Interesting guy, interesting life. And so this and the team had been in a rough spot, like never truly bottoming out. not really having a lot to show for this team. The Anthony Richardson project being like, oh, this guy has so much potential, but like doesn't seem to really have the just like can't quite put it together. He gets hurt. Like it's just really aimless. I'm like, man, my goal for this season is to win the first game, which they have not won in week 1 since 2013. The Colts lost week 1 every single year since 2013,
which is a wild, like,
it's like
to
it's
win
fine.
your opening game for over 10 years is kind of wild.
Right, and like they've been good and they've been bad in between that stretch. And that first week they would always lose it, which is crazy. It's like, so honestly, I was ready to call this season a total win after they won. They like shellacked Miami in week 1. Uh, um, our defense had like that crazy celebration in the end zone where he's like doing the worm thing, the frog music's playing. I was already ready to call this season a win after that one game. And then they have won 2 more games since then, making them one of the last undefeated teams in the league, having played 2 probably not good teams. The Titans and Miami are probably not good.
Right.
The Denver win is legit, I will say. And that's a very
100%.
important one, too. That one, I feel like that's going to be a very relevant win to have in playoff seeding comes around, or in the as the playoff picture forms. Sorry, I've been rambling on this to bring you in here, Josh. But as things suddenly look good for the Colts, Indiana Jones is playing out of his mind, and like it's cool to realize like, oh wait, we really were just like a pretty average starter level journeyman quarterback away from like having a really serious team.
Right.
It's like I really didn't think that, but like when you have somebody who can, again, not that like playing quarterback is easy, right? It's a very hard thing to do, but like someone who can do that at like a league average level at least. Not to say that Dan Jones is like just average. He has been very good. He's taking care of the ball. He's making smart decisions. He's winning with his feet. It's just like, oh, it just all kind of snapped into place. I'm like, oh, can we have an actual like their players on this roster, et cetera, et cetera. Like what?
Well, the other thing that it for me highlights is like, as a football fan is just how toxic that Giants organization has become in terms of like clearly Daniel Jones has talent. And you put a couple weapons around him, you give him a healthy environment, and the dude can flourish. And that is one of those kind of like football is a job like any others, and when you have toxic management, you can't do your job. It doesn't matter how much your talent is. Like if you're not given the right leadership around you, it is really hard to do your job no matter what your skill level is. So to sit in that organization for so many years, to get benched for, other people, to have all this discourse around him, like, sure, that does motivate you, I'm sure, to an extent, but it just shows how important strong leadership and management is for these clubs and for these teams, and how there is probably generational talent every year that is wasted behind poor management.
Yeah, it's the kind of thing like, I mean, Baker Mayfield comes to mind.
Yep.
With like that, and how he after the Cleveland breakup was like kind of a journeyman for a couple of years. Like he was playing on Carolina's practice squad, which is crazy. And then all of a sudden he goes to Tampa Bay and he's like one of the top 7 or 8 quarterbacks, maybe even that's probably about right if I had to guess. In the league. So it's like it's the kind of thing I think, like, said another way, Josh, like anybody who I think gets to that level clear like has the talent it's just like the rest of the organizational kind of like like you said, it's like it's not just about like player talent, it's about like the organization and structure you have around it. So true, especially for like NBA too, like where it's like if you even get close to the league, you are one of the top like 500 basketball players on the planet. Like at that point, it is. I don't think it's really a question about like your raw ability. It's about like finding the correct role for you with the correct team and the correct fit. Like so, all that to say, it's been really cool that like Daniel Jones came here. I was like, oh my god, when he won the starting job, I'm like, oh boy. Um, it's the kind of thing like I thought we were so many like years behind when the Richardson project didn't work out, but it really just shows like you know we should not have drafted such a raw prospect uh, when Daniel Jones can kind of come in and this team is like bang like clicking the way it has already. Long season, right?
Yeah.
I will say one big thing in the Colts' favor, even if we see we're going to see some regression, they're going to have some tough games. Uh, if they beat the Rams, I'm going to go. I'm this upcoming Sunday. I'm going to go. I'm going to blue myself.
Right.
Uh,
I will. So this is something too, and this has been a discussion in the wider sports and in the football world is like there are certain groups, there are certain coaches that are really good at developing young quarterbacks because the skill set to be a college quarterback and to be a NFL quarterback are very different at the
mhm.
end of the day. And while the NFL has definitely toned down the complexity of its playbook and whatnot for the new modern college QB, it still takes a lot of development to like go from playing, on Saturdays against other teenagers to playing against grown ass men with mortgages and
Mhm.
bills to pay. So it is incumbent on a lot of these organizations to know their strength and kind of like what you were talking about is like sometimes you have to know when you are the organization that doesn't need to draft the QB. You need to bring one in and you need to draft the weapons around that person. And it really feels like the Colts are right now one of those kinds of organizations. Whereas my Packers are very much like, hey, we're going to draft the guy and we're going to sit him for 3 years and
Mhm.
develop him as you really
How
should.
they can't keep getting away with it? It's fucking insane. I
I
swear
mean,
to
it's
God.
worked out for my whole life. There have really only been 3 starting quarterbacks. There've been one, obviously the like injuries
I don't
where
even know
somebody
what to
has to start,
say.
but like the real starters, there have been. I've had 3 my entire life, basically.
That is like we have. I don't even want to like Google it right now because it's like Philip Rivers, um, Joe Flacco, Anthony Richardson.
Did
Um,
you guys have Tyrod Taylor for a little bit? Did I
oh
make that
God,
up?
I think you might have made that one up.
Okay.
Matt Ryan. Oh
Oh my
God,
God,
Matt
Matt
Ryan.
Ryan.
Oh, that was
That's
rough.
right. He did.
The
He did.
Matt
He
Ryan
did.
year
He
was
did a
rough.
shift in Indianapolis.
Yeah, that's what it felt like. Um, uh, Jacoby was all right.
Yeah.
Um, all right is not. This is being very nice. It's just a rough stretch,
Right.
and like we were getting hit with like the everybody's graphics department was just like, oh boy, we got the Colts this weekend. Let's queue up the nastiest little QB carousel graphic we can. It gets worse every year. Just like they were teeing off on us. Um, but now like uh, 3-0 is like it's nice. The stats are good. I feel like Colts teams of the past would have blown that Titans game, and they just good teams beat bad teams. If that makes like no duh, but like inconsistent teams will lose to bad teams. Like a team that is taking care of business will convincingly beat teams they're supposed to beat, and that's what they seem to be doing. Like, they beat the brakes off Miami, beat the brakes off of the Titans, had a close one against Denver. Like, it makes me confident about what they're going to end up being, especially because they get to play in the AFC South, which is like some hilarious division because somebody has to win it.
Right.
While your Packers are in the division from hell.
Yeah, no, the last year especially the stat line through like the first 6 weeks of the NFC North were unreal. Like, and the other part about that was that we were the only division to have 3 teams make it to the playoffs and have none of them win a playoff game, which is just bonkers. Like,
I forgot about that. That rocked.
Yeah, that was
like
pretty...
too tired, like beating the hell out of each other, and just like someone just like comes.
Yeah, and then they get there and like, oh, I'm gonna take a nap now. So
it's like, whew, man, that shit was hard.
Yeah, we got to the playoffs.
I didn't realize. That's so funny.
Yeah, it's crazy.
That's incredible.
But yeah, as we alluded here, as you can see by my lights, and my friend Adi here, who is wearing a Green Bay bow tie, a little dapper buddy here, hanging out with me. I'm a Green Bay Packers fan, and like we talked about liking stories, the Green Bay Packers in the lead up to Week 1 had quite the wild story happen to us as well that turned our prospects to like, oh yeah, we're looking to a pretty decent year, to like, we might go all the way this year. But
yes, the Parsons, the Luka trade of the NFL.
Yeah, we had the Luka trade of the NFL. This and it benefited my team. America's most crustiest great grandfather, Jerry Jones, owner of the Dallas Cowboys, had a pretty public argument with one of their best defensive players, Micah Parsons, who was looking to get a guaranteed deal, and was like, hey, I'm ready to sign, just give me the contract. And Jerry's playing coy, like, no, we'll get there, we're not there yet, but we're working on it, it'll be fine, don't worry. And then like a couple days before Week 1 kickoff, out of the blue, news alerts, Micah Parsons traded to the Green Bay Packers.
You love to see it.
You just absolutely, like, it was one of those, like, on the Green Bay subreddit, everywhere is like,
when bad things happen to evil teams.
Yeah. Like, if it didn't come out from like Ian Rappaport and Adam Schefter, you're like, this is somebody, there's no way. I saw people who tried to do this trade in Madden, and Madden wouldn't let them do it. It was so lopsided, and like that, nobody would really do this. This is not real.
Like, you gotta call. I think every GM needs to have like somebody's nephew on the line. Just like, hey, hypothetically, hey, can you do, like, someone's got to be able to click the buttons to test that trade in Madden to see if it'll let you do it. If the computer rejects it, like, you can't do it.
Right, 100%.
You gotta have gotta be somebody's job to test that.
100%. And there were some folks who were like, well, yeah, he's gonna be good, but like, you guys are getting a diva. He's gonna cause more problems than he's worth. Yeah, he's gonna win you a couple extra games, but like, he's gonna fuck up that dynamic in the locker room. Much cope. So the Packers started off the first 2 games looking like absolute juggernauts. Just great play. Micah already getting in, making huge plays on the defense. The defense just looking more solid than it's ever looked in the last 10 years that I've been watching, more closely. And then last week, we lose to the Cleveland Browns, led by the elite yet aging Joe Flacco. And
that is awesome.
Yeah, we were defeated.
Noted Colts quarterback Joe Flacco.
Noted Indianapolis Colts. So we lost 13-10, and honestly, most of that was on the offense not putting enough together. Like, it was. There's a great clip from Mic'd Up of Myles Garrett chasing Jordan, just going, Jordan, run! Like, just warning him, like, get out of here, buddy. I'm coming for you. And then he's on the sidelines, like, I was yelling at him, Jordan, run! Fucking
run, Jordan!
Jordan, run! Hilarious.
That's too funny.
But obviously after a loss to a team like the Cleveland Browns, who are not going to expected to have a winning season. You'd expect a diva to come out and blame it on everybody else, but he said sometimes, just like today, you shit the bed. That's the reality of it. Happens to the best teams. Even the Super Bowl champs make mistakes, and they pay for it early. You go to the history of the champions, they played games that they should have won. It's just part of the NFL. It's that competitive. It's hard to win. It's hard as hell to win football games. So when you win football games, it's a celebration, but when you lose, it sucks. Basically, you take it as a character-building experience. You grow from it. Like, you want to talk about the mentality of somebody who is hungry to prove themselves and to go win. Like, yeah, we sucked today, and this is a big dose of humble pie after 2 games, and we're going to learn from this and not make those same mistakes again. Like, this is a hard league. It's 18 weeks, and we're going to knuckle down and get it done.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, does it seem like the Packers offense is going to be, is that like the question mark as a Packers fan as far as like,
Yes, because the thing about the Packers, so the Packers still have the youngest team in the league on average. They're a very young team, and if you look at some of the stats from last year, like some of our pass and rush leaders, or pass leaders only, I think our most prolific passer, who we did lose in week 2, only had like 800 yards. But the thing about the Packers offense right now is that Jordan Love has chemistry with a lot of people. Like, he distributes the ball very well, which is something Aaron Rodgers really didn't do. You know, he has 2 main guys, and yeah, he'd get him to everybody else every once in a while. But like, especially in the playoff games, he would only throw it to Devontae Adams, and if Devontae Adams was in quadruple coverage, like, well, we weren't going to win that game. So like, there is something to be said for having like your guy that you have the utmost chemistry with, you know, your Patrick Mahomes and your Travis Kelce from 2 years ago, where like Patrick could just fucking toss the ball up and somehow Travis was there. Like, there is something to be said for that, but there's also something to be said for having a receiving core who you can just distribute the ball to and not be like, if somebody goes down, you're not like, well, there goes our season. So in that sense, yes, there is a question mark because you don't have that like superstar because Christian Watson's still hurt. So like, but it's for me, I look at it as a positive.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Fun. I guess. What was I gonna say? I thought of another kind of thing we should do here. I want you to give me your not so fast, like not so fast. Don't count them out yet. Team.
Ooh, the not so fast, don't count them out yet team.
I feel like there's an easy pick for this, but I think we should try to find a more fun one than the Baltimore Ravens.
I mean, yes, obviously it's the Baltimore Ravens.
Right. 1 and 2 have played like 2 of the other very best teams, and they have a very tough start.
100%.
They played the Bills.
Also,
they get the Chiefs this weekend.
Real quick, the AFC East and really NFC South, pure poverty division. Real quick, we've got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers 3-0, Carolina Panthers 1-2, Atlanta Falcons 1-2, New Orleans Saints 0-3.
Yeah, we get shit all the time for our division, but like, man, that is a. Oh
I will
boy.
say it's your division is 3-0, 2-1, 0-3, and 0-3.
If your division reflects anything close to the wealth distribution of our time, you know what kind of division you live in. You live in the capitalistic, evil division, because if you're like, wait a minute, that looks familiar, it's because you've realized you're a serf. Okay, that's what's happened. Yeah, that's poverty.
100%. I almost want to say the Texans.
Interesting.
I feel like
I like this pick.
yeah, I feel like CJ's having a a bit of a junior slump, but I can see him pulling it out there and at least grinding them to being on the bubble. Like I don't know that they will make the playoffs, but I bet he'll get them a winning record, and I bet they will get to like in the hunt conversation come the end of the year.
Right. I think for the play for the Texans, uh, what's their? I haven't kept up with a lot of them like specifically, but I think that they have had a. I mean, they have some people hurt, like Mixon, who is a great running back. Like
Right.
it kind of opens up their offense. Is out for a while. So, for the case for Houston is CJ kind of gets out of his slump. Mixon comes back to like get the offense a little bit more life. They get to play the Titans twice. Uh, they get to pull, um, that good. That's good for something. Uh, uh, let's see here. I don't think that they have a super tough schedule technically far out. I don't know how good Jacksonville's going to be either. So the path is there, um, but that's definitely a team that's going to have to. I don't know. Feels like they are. That's a bold pick.
Yeah.
It's a bold pick.
I'm a bold
But
man.
I like
That's what I
like
do.
the faith. I like the faith because
That's what I do.
I saw something today that was like somebody was comparing C.J. Stroud's like stats to Richardson,
Mm,
and that to me felt like I don't think you've watched.
no.
Richardson had some really great moments and some really great plays, but I just think across the board, C.J. Stroud was a much more comfortable,
Yeah, and I
uh,
think
competent player game to game.
that's also one of those intangibles of like
Right.
CJ Stroud's mentality as an athlete and as a competitor versus Anthony Richardson's. Like CJ Stroud's never gonna tap out on a third down because he's tired. Like he is gonna play that drive. He is gonna give it everything he has,
Right.
and he. There are some other like quarterbacks from that generation. Like he just feels like somebody who is hungry to learn and hungry to win.
Right. I like that.
Yeah, yeah.
I think my other don't count them out yet. It feels a little silly to call them a don't count them out yet team. When they are second in their division right now, but if you are the Steelers, I think you have to be feeling pretty decent about your spot right now. Ahead of Baltimore and Cleveland, tied with Cincinnati, who is going to be who is a team we'll need to come back to in a second here with our second part of this.
Yep.
Tomlin magic, as always. Maybe a bit of a Fields resurgence question mark. Or at least enough to if Baltimore doesn't come storming back to win that division, which I think they probably will.
Yeah.
I just think Lamar Jackson is too good. Derrick Henry has had like some drops and fumbles, and he's going to clean that up. I don't
Yeah.
think he's. I don't think he's. He everything else about Derrick Henry has
And I
looked
don't
too
think I
good
don't
for like
yeah.
2 plays to be a uh-oh thing. I think it's just over the. I think panicking about the Ravens will look silly by week 17. That's my take now. But I think the Steelers have a prime opportunity here to build on, like, take advantage of some of the, um, a weekend Cincinnati and be able to, I don't know, make a run here. Like, what are they like the? Yeah, so they play like Steelers schedule, for example, here. Let's see here. They've got Minnesota at home next. Then Cleveland at Cincinnati. Like, I think they're gonna play Cincinnati twice, probably before Joe Burrow's back.
Yeah, because I mean Joe Burrow's out for at least 3 months.
Right. At Chicago, they do catch Baltimore. Wow, they don't play Baltimore until December, and then again in January.
Ooh.
So tough. They have a
In
tough stretch down the line.
playing Baltimore end of the season, injuries piling up, Baltimore,
Mhm.
fighting to try and, clinch a top spot, like that's going to be a tough team.
Yeah, Baltimore is at that. Like, if you're talking about, like, that's a good point. Like, AFC standings at that point, with Buffalo already being 3-0. If Baltimore's gonna have to play hard through all those weeks. I don't think they're going to be able. I will be surprised if they can, like, rest starters on that last week. So, but and yeah, they play the Packers because they're playing, I guess, that division
Yeah,
too.
they're
So
playing that division.
but everyone else is too, and I feel like I have confidence in the Steelers being able to, like, squeak into a wild card slot like they always have here, because especially if you look at some of the other, like, AFC teams who might be in the running for that. Um, it's like, if you go up at the top of the division teams right now, like, okay, North probably Baltimore, AFC East very likely the Bills, uh, Colts in position in the South, right? And the Chargers in the West, like, if we take that as, like, your top four in the AFC as is, like, I don't know how Jacksonville, Cincinnati or Cleveland, New England or Vegas has a better path to a wild card than the Steelers do. Does that kind of make sense?
Yeah, 100%.
I think I think probably the we'll come back to this here in a second, but the AFC West is an interesting division, because now I think we need to talk about the, like, who's your, like, I didn't think of a better phrase for this, but, like, who's the like, your scratch off situation not good, in trouble team, the opposite of what we talked about. Your sneaky team.
I mean, the sneaky
You can't say the Dolphins or the Giants
can't
or
say
the
Dolphins.
Saints, because those are the obvious ones.
Okay, honestly, I'm gonna say Kansas City.
I was gonna say the same thing.
I know they like they did all right. Something is not clicking on that team this year, and
Mhm.
I know Mahomes is gonna Mahomes, and I know they're gonna win a lot of games, but I just don't know. There's something off about that team this year, and I don't know that they're gonna be able to grind it out. And their division isn't particularly strong right now, but they still have to play some good teams this year.
Right.
I mean, they've got
That division got good all of
yeah,
a sudden.
but they also have they have the Ravens next week. They have the Lions in 2 weeks. They have depending on how the Commanders are, but they have the Bills. They have the Colts.
And we always hilariously, like, always beat the Chiefs.
Yeah.
Somehow.
So I really think that, like, it's a 5-alarm fire in Kansas City, and, like, it's not looking good.
Yeah, like, they catch Denver after the bye in November, and then again in December. They get a couple of games against the Titans and Jacksonville. Again, not to disparage fellow AFC South teams, but fuck those guys. But yeah, they have not looked super great across the board. They're hurt. They're also suspended in some places.
Yeah.
I thought the t-shirts were weird. It's like, what are you guys doing?
That was
That's
really,
crazy.
really weird.
That's the thing. The vibe. The vibes are
The vibes are
atrocious.
bad. Yeah.
You know, it's like I think the Swift thing is fun. I like it. But the t-shirt thing told me like this tells me
The vibes are
the
bad.
aura, the universe is punishing them
Yeah.
for
Yeah, it's honestly it is time for Travis to retire and just be Taylor Swift's boyfriend and do his little podcast with his little brother and not be football man anymore. He's
right. But
is
also this team is going to go like 9-8, get a wild card, and then just get back to the Super Bowl again because that's just what they always do.
God damn it. I
So
will be
it,
so
it's
mad.
good. Like Buffalo's gonna win like 17 games, and they're just it's gonna be the exact same situation.
Oh my
again.
god, I hate how
We're
right
gonna
you
be
are.
so mad about it.
Oh,
It's just so it feels silly, but like, yeah, I think the reason I think this is a good pick is because Denver is really coming into its own lately. The Chargers, like the Harbaugh Herbert connection, seems to be real. Everyone can stop talking about potential with Herbert because now they're actually maybe good.
that'd be nice.
Potential squad,
Yeah, I wish.
all time potential squad, the Chargers. Um, so that they don't quite have the same bank of like
Yeah.
beating up on their own division that they
Justin
had
Herbert has been
maybe
the
pushed
up and
them
coming
past.
rookie for like it feels like 8
Half
years.
a decade. Yeah, half a decade is just 5 years, but come on, what are we doing?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good pick. I think the other team. This is tricky. I don't know. I feel like let's see here. I feel like kind of got through a lot of these. In one shape or another. I feel like the Niners, I think, is another one that
Yeah.
is because I mean they've got they're 3-0, so they're in a pretty good spot. But Purdy limited, a lot of other offensive players
And
out or
didn't
limited.
Bosa just go out?
Bosa's out for the year. I think it was an ACL, right?
I believe so, yes.
There is the inevitable McCaffrey flight to Germany whenever that happens, to do shit that is not legal to do here. And
I'm sorry, do you not believe in Mac Jones?
I don't know if I believe. I don't believe in the Maction. Different Jones enthusiast right now.
Right.
And they've got some tough games down the stretch against the juggernaut Indianapolis Colts, and a very late bye too, and just classic San Francisco 49ers. This team is gonna be like this is gonna be the hospital squad, like year from hell hospital squad by that time, and I think they have because they're playing like the Giants, they're playing the AFC South, in a couple of spots, so they're are going to be have some kind of softer games on paper, right?
Right.
But those are not soft games when everybody is hurt to hell and back. So
100%.
I think they are a sneaky whoa, because I just think I don't think they're gonna be able to sustain that. And
Yeah.
They'll get into the playoffs and just the Packers will. No, you always beat the Cowboys and the Niners always beat you. Is that
Yeah,
how
the
it
Niners
works?
always beat us. That's been our Achilles heel for a while.
This could be the year that if the Niners get into the playoffs, this could be you could get over the hump. This could be it.
We could break the curse.
This would be the test, right? Is if you can break your curse.
Yeah.
Curse
If we get the Niners in the first round and we beat them, we're winning the Super Bowl. It's just like it's gonna happen.
Right. You're like, mortgage the house. We got it. All on Big G, please.
100%.
Any other parting shot NFL takes, Josh?
I think my main thing is like I feel like this year is gonna be a year that kind of shake things up a little bit. Like you're gonna have some sneaky teams. You're gonna have some of the folks who were supposed to be locks that may not necessarily. Like I think this is gonna be a really good season to like tune into the National Football League in terms of the storylines, in terms of the upsets, in terms of who's in the conversation. So I really think and I think this is going to be a season where everything doesn't solidify until the very end. Like, yeah, you're going to have your one or two like standouts, but like we're going to get down to the wire to find out like who's in the playoffs and who has a shot. So like, I think this is going to be a really good year for professional football.
I think I agree. I feel like I'm looking at the list here, and it feels like it is like Buffalo is probably going to be the betting favorite to get to and probably win the Super Bowl. They have been a little snake bitten historically.
Right.
I don't have to belabor that. But I mean, they have been so complete, and it just feels like when that team is clicking, like they will beat you in no matter in whatever kind of game is being played, and they can play anywhere. And Josh Allen probably is on track for another MVP.
As somebody who's a fan of Josh Allen, I really want him to at least get to the game. Like,
yeah. Look, America's been going through it lately. I mean, to a certain extent, we always have been and always will be, and that's just life. But we could really use a fun Super Bowl, right? You know, like how we almost got that. What did we almost get? We almost got that Lions. Ravens.
Ravens.
We almost got that one year, and they're like, man, that would have been like they knew we couldn't have that.
I want Packers Bills. I want Love Allen.
That'd be a fun one. I don't know who comes. I feel like the Bills are like the team. I don't know who comes out of the NFC. It feels like Packers probably is up there. Tampa Bay, I feel like looks pretty complete. Like a Baker Mayfield Super Bowl run, I think is a really fun story too. But yeah, it's really right now. It's like I feel like it's kind of hard to think about like who is going to be. We don't have a great like. I don't know. It's still so early, but I feel like we have a pretty good understanding of like who it's going to be. But there's so many other like this could be the year somebody just makes a run and.
Right.
I don't know. That's why you play the games.
Indeed, it is.
So. All right. Well, hey, this was a good NFL chat.
Indeed.
I've
personally, so I'm I'm a Premier League soccer fan, an Arsenal fan to be specific. So I have a couple things in the Arsenal world that just wanted to go over very quickly. This
fire away.
This is going to be quite the season. So Arsenal have been perpetually second place the last few years, and it is unfortunately looking like that might continue on this year. Arsenal spent a record £250 million on acquisitions this year to create quite the squad, and I will say. We are early on. We've only played 5 of 38 games, so we've got a long season ahead of us. But we are currently sitting in second place behind the previous Premier League champs, Liverpool. We are behind them by 5 points. But We did snag a draw from the jaws of defeat against Manchester City this Sunday to avoid which one thing I think I want to do with this show too is try and find those really ridiculous stats and just highlight them because they always crack me up. So while I was listening to the game cast of this, while we were down, the commentator was saying, Arsenal is about to lose their first home game in the Premier League in September in 13 years. I'm like, that's a very specific thing to mention, but thankfully we got a 93rd minute equalizer in stoppage time to turn that game into a draw. Another stat that was crazy about that game, just to kind of tell you the woes of Arsenal in time to time. Manchester City, who led the game for 83 minutes basically, had 5 touches in our box. Mike, I want you to guess how many touches we had in their box over the whole game.
I didn't think you were going to talk about box touching on this.
I am talking about box touching, but just
2.
40. Almost 40. So
that's so many.
It's so many, and it took us 93 minutes to get an equalizer to make sure we didn't at least lose that game.
Just radical inefficiency.
Yes,
that's incredible.
And that is the story of Arsenal, and that's one I'll be tracking over this year, and this show is just like, hey, is Arsenal turning that investment into anything useful or no? And right now,
look,
it's not feeling like it.
It's not a punch card situation. You got to put it in the goal.
It really is.
Offense. It's different than just the middle of the field. It's different. My parting shot, I think, is frankly just a little bit of amazement at myself that I still engage with sports at all, frankly. As you all may have surmised, I'm a Pacers fan. And this year's their playoff run, if you have heard anything about NBA basketball ever, I hope you heard about the run the Pacers had in the playoffs. Just go Google it, and you'll see all the clips of the crazy comebacks, being up against Cleveland 80-39 at halftime, and then it all ending in the most heartbreaking fashion you could possibly have. Like, it's like Cinderella getting into the carriage after the stroke of midnight, and then the carriage turning back into a pumpkin, and then it fucking exploding and killing everybody is what it felt like. Because like Halliburton hits like 4 threes in the first 7 minutes of Game 7. He is like, you can tell. That's the thing about the reason Halliburton is such a fun player is when you know it's going to be one of those nights, you know right away. Like when he has a bad night, you tell. But when he is, when you know you're in for a show, you know immediately, and that's how he was in Game 7. And then he tears his ACL, and they're still somehow they are up at halftime. They have a lead at halftime. It's like and then the Thunder make one good run, and that's it. And I legitimately was just like, after that happened, it was like, why do I do this to myself, man? And I seriously had to think about it. I'm like, why does anybody do this? It's like, I didn't know I had the capacity to feel that much pain for
it's tough.
Sports. Right. But then you got to remind yourself that, like, I think rings culture dilutes how special it is to go on a really cool run. and to just like think about the cool and like how cool it can be to honor and think about like just hold the memory of like a really special team, even if they didn't get to the last tiny pinnacle step. And I just think when you only look at like rangs, you miss so many of the interesting stories, people, and things that make sports like worth talking about. And I'm pretty sure, you know, 28 other teams would trade, would have gone on the run the Pacers did if they could swap. And I think that's the cope I am hanging on to. And
That sounds like somebody who hasn't won a ring before.
I feel like people are gonna remember the Pacers more than the Thunder, like 5 years from now, about like what made this playoffs cool. And I'm gonna stick to that because, you know,
Must cope.
they can't take your aura, man.
Semi-related. We'll get into the quick backstory of how I got into the NBA because I have a quick last hit related to my team about some drama that has come out in the last few weeks here. So I was not particularly into the National Basketball Association for a very long time. Like, you know, grew up watching Michael Jordan, had Bulls gear because everybody did who didn't know anything about basketball in that time. I did 1 day of basketball camp in first grade. That is my basketball knowledge. I went to a basketball university, school, college, was getting more into basketball, lived with folks like Mike who were into the NBA and was like, hey, I need to get into the NBA. And I found out there's this team in Toronto. Their logo is a Velociraptor.
You love a
pretty
dinosaur.
dope. I love the color red. That's their primary color. I also love cool neon retro colors, which Mike informed me, like, hey, look at this dope jersey that they have from the 90s. I was like, should this be my team? And he's like, yes, it should be. I'm like, all right, I'm locking it in. I am a Toronto Raptors fan. And he looked at me and he said, haha, joke's on you. They suck. And this was in around 2012. And they did suck. They were bad. But damn it, that was my team. Fast forward to 2019, we get Kawhi Leonard. We go on a run. We beat the Golden State Warriors, and we win a national championship. Kawhi Leonard then leaves the Toronto Raptors.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. Praise be unto him. I am glad. I want him to get another ring. I do want him to get another ring. I want him to get it with a team that's not your team. But I do want him to get another ring.
Hey,
love
hell,
you,
man.
Love you. Let me do the Gen Alpha.
I don't understand that shit.
It hurts. Nope. Your middle fingers go down. Your pointer fingers do the top of the heart. No, you don't. Get your thumbs out of there. Yep, you're getting there. Nope, wrong, incorrect. Anyway,
I think I'm stupid.
I think you are. We'll work on this offline, bud.
Okay. Thank you.
So Kawhi came to Toronto on a 1-year deal, and they tried to get him to stay, and he didn't. He went back to LA. He went to the Clippers. A lot of people were like, man, especially in the bubble, Toronto could have gotten back to back. It would have been great. Blah blah blah. The Clippers haven't won anything with him. Let that be said. Over the summer, there was some reporting that came out about the deal that got Kawhi to come
Pablo
back. Basically, Steve Ballmer and crew over there in LA, setting up a fake company / sponsorship deal to basically funnel money.
Extremely ethereal tree planting.
Yes. Yeah. Mr. Tree Man, Kawhi Leonard. But then some knock-on reporting came out about the demands that he made to Toronto to try and stay. And some of these are crazy. So first off, he demanded Paul George get traded to come play with him.
Who was on the Clippers.
Yeah.
Like, the Clippers arranged the signing and trade of Paul George.
Yep. He wanted an extra $10 million in sponsorships. He wanted partial ownership of the Toronto Maple Leafs and other ownership stakes in companies affiliated with the Maple Leaf, the ownership conglomerate. So
How deep does the tree thing go?
those roots are branching out.
Maybe he's just a big tree guy.
Yeah.
Maple leaves.
So Kawhi could have stayed in Toronto and possibly gone for two national championships, and instead he went to the Clippers, where he now may have to forfeit all of the money that he took over the last 5 years, and Steve Ballmer might be barred from the NBA for a full year because of that. So, maybe you're right, Mike. Maybe sometimes the journey is better than the actual ring.
Yeah, the Clippers thing is really funny because it does pretty much like, no, yeah, it kind of seems like they did that to get around the cap rules, which with the current agreement that everybody's on is extremely the second tax apron is extremely punishing, and that's the reason why league parity has felt really cool lately. If you go back and look, I think I don't think we've had a repeat title winner since I think the Warriors were the last team to do it in like the mid kind of 2010s. But everybody since then has been a new team, which has been really cool. And part of that is this tax deal.
Yeah.
Because it makes it so hard for you to kind of build and retain what you'd call a quote super team unquote, like a la the Miami Heat, for example, in the height of the LeBron days.
Yep.
So that makes getting around the cap all the more kind of like a undermining the effectiveness of it. I feel like there has been less of a stink about it because I kind of wonder if everybody's secretly doing it.
I would bet so.
Right, and nobody wants to put a skewer through Steve Ballmer too much on it because one, he's like the richest owner. I don't have numbers in front of me, but he's definitely one of the more. He is not counting on the Clippers are a hobby for him. It's not a primary financial income kind of thing.
Right.
And I kind of feel like everybody's doing it. But
I wouldn't be surprised.
Right. And I think I saw the league is like, oh yeah, we'll have a ruling on this by the All-Star break. It's like,
it's gonna take that long.
It's like, all right, okay. I think they're really just hoping everyone kind of forgets about it and they'll be like, oh, they lose a second round pick in 5 years. But the Clippers don't have any picks either, which is the other funny part. It's like, dog, what picks are you taking? There's nothing.
100%.
So it is kind of a curious thing of like, what do they do? And who else is doing it? Also, definitely very funny to like, because the second all this stuff started coming out, everyone started pointing fingers at Jalen Brunson and the Knicks because Jalen Brunson's dad works for the Knicks too. They're like, huh? Which is weird.
Right.
But yeah, that's neither here nor there. But I can assure you that the Pacers are fine. Everything, don't worry about it.
Absolutely. Well, to keep up with the happenings here in the sports world and the stories that the Mike and I find over the next coming weeks, where could you keep up with that, Mike?
Where could one do that?
Well, I'm so glad you asked. At unscriptedgaming.com. That is where you can find all of the Unscripted Gaming universe, all of our various shows, updates, links to everything. You can follow us on Facebook at Unscripted Game Podcast. We're on Blue Sky at unscript_gaming. SoundCloud.com/unscripted-gaming gets you audio versions of all of our various shows across the Unscripted universe here. We are on all the major podcatchers, and you can find video versions of all of our shows at unscriptedgaming.2.0. Thank you for listening to the Untitled Sports Show by Unscripted Gaming. My name is Josh.
My name is Mike.
Peace.